Bill Burr, certified goat, funny as hell. He's been making the rounds lately. He's said quite a few things that have really pissed off the right wing, and it's just doing nothing but filling me with joy. The other day, he is on the red carpet, going to an award for Conan O'Brien is winning the Mark Twain Comedy Award. They only give it to the probably the biggest voice comedians out there, and Conan O'Brien is getting, he's getting awarded for this, and Bill Burr is there because they're friends, and he's in the comedy world. So, but since he has been so outspoken lately, going on all kinds of podcasts, and he does his own Monday morning Monday morning podcast. Hey, how are ya? This is Bill Burr on the Monday morning podcast. I fucking love that guy. Anyway, he's been in the news lately because he's been saying some shit that is pissing off a lot of right-wingers out there. Bill Burr back in the day used to be, he would slam lefties for being, little bitches and snowflakes. And in some respect, I kind of agree with him, because sometimes, people are bitches and snowflakes. And, sometimes you need to suck it up a little bit. I appreciated that. I mean, I think that at that point, some of the stuff he was saying, he might have been a little misguided with, but at the same time, from a layman's perspective, looking, from the outside in, sometimes it just seems like people are just complaining about, safe spaces and what have you, and my truth. Well, now the entire Republican Party is all about safe spaces and hug boxes, and my truth outweighs your truth. It's like, well, the truth is 2 + 2 = 4. That's not my truth. 2 + 2 = 22. Thank you very much. Donald Trump told me, and I believe him because he is Jesus. He's Jesus. Jesus incarnate. Anyway, Bill is outside this Mark Twain Award, walking in, and he gets a couple of Newsmax or One America News or Real American Voice or whatever the fuck. They come up to him and they say, one lady goes, you've been saying a lot of things about Luigi, and I've been reading up on it, and I wanted to know if you wanted to expand on that at all. And he's like, if you've been reading up on it, I ain't writing anything down. I said what I said. You obviously didn't do any research on it. You're just looking to get a soundbite. And, after he put her in her place, that he keeps walking, and then another douchebag, sticks his mic in his face, and he asks him, and he looked, by the way, he looked at that woman, and he goes, I went to summer school 3 out of the 4 years of high school. What the hell are you asking me? What, are you going to ask me about the Middle East next? Oh, I don't know. You going to ask me about fucking climate change? I'm a fucking dancing monkey. I'm here for Conan. That's it. And he starts to walk by, and then another person sticks a mic in his face and asks him about Elon Musk. And he's like, these guys are just trying to get Bill Burr to say something so they can take that little clip and play it on their news program and go, look, he's evil lefty. And Bill he's not a dumbass. He's not playing his game. So the soundbite he's going to give him is basically just an insult to that person. So if they want to show it, they can show it, but they can just show it on their own program, getting owned by the GOAT, Bill Burr. I think it's glorious. So he asks him about Elon Musk, and Bill Burr looks at him. He goes, what happened to you, news media? You lost your balls. Why are you asking me? He goes, well, comedians, they're on the edge of culture. He goes, no, man, that's a fucking cop-out. You are the news media, and you're standing here going, well, what should I think? What should I be doing? I'm taking my cues from comedians. You're the news guy. Do some fucking news reporting. Why don't you ask Donald Trump a real question as opposed to asking him how big his dick is, or how wonderful his golf swing is? Ask him something real. And personally, that's what I think that Bill Burr was saying. He's just like, man the fuck up and do your job and stop being a dear leader, sycophantic little news, I don't want to call you a newscaster. You're more like a news stenographer. You're just reading off what you were told and don't do any goddamn research. Hell, man, I do more research for this goddamn show than Newsmax has done all year for theirs. Anyway, I mean, I've seen Bill, hitting back pretty hard, and I really appreciate it. There was I remember one time he was on with Joe Rogan, who, by the way, has simply just lost the plot. I don't know if he's high on his own supply of, super alpha male, delta, whatever, magic pills that he's on, or he's just surrounded by a hug box of right-wingers and sycophantic comedians that want to ride his dick into stardom. I don't know what happened to Joe Rogan other than the fact that he has lost the plot and he ain't coming back. But I saw Bill Burr on with him not too long ago, and, you could see that Joe Rogan is like, he's talking about COVID and the vaccine, and he's trying to get Bill Burr all fired up so he can have a little, bashing the vaccine session. And maybe that's what fucked up Joe Rogan. Maybe Joe lost the plot during COVID. It's very possible that's what happened. Not the vaccine broke his brain, just the whole situation of COVID broke his brain. But Bill Burr looks at him across the table and is like, I'm not going to sit here and not be a fucking doctor talking to you who's not a fucking doctor or a scientist, and we're trying to figure out the fucking vaccine like you or I know anything more than the fucking CDC knows. I ain't doing this shit. And Joe Rogan's like, please, please, please. And Bill's just not playing that fucking game. And I love it. I love it. He's a comedian. He knows he's a comedian. He's smart and he's witty, and he knows how to make a point in an entertaining way for the masses to be able to get. But he knows he's not a scientist. He knows he's not an economist. He knows his place in this world and what his strengths are, and he plays to them, which I really appreciate. The other day, he was on a podcast talking about Jeff Bezos at Amazon, and he's talking about billionaires and how evil billionaires are. And he quotes Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos says, I want my employees going to bed afraid of losing their jobs. And I want my employees waking up fearing losing their jobs. You have got $200 billion. Why are you reveling in making people have fear and angst and anxiety in their lives just to maintain their shit-ass job making $12 an hour, boxing up shit for the consumer? Which, by the way, that might be ending pretty soon. Good luck with that. All of those Chinese products in Amazon, you're going to have a tariff on it too, baby. Woo, I love the tariffs, baby. Just short of terrific. But my favorite quote lately from Bill Burr, which, it's just fucking chef's kiss. It's just, it's so good. He was making fun of right-wingers being snowflakes about Snow White. I talked about Snow White recently, and, I kind of gave my opinion on it. But his opinion was so much nicer and so much funnier and so much more succinct. He's like, he goes, these right-wingers. I'm not doing a very good job with his voice. He's more from Boston. How are you? These right-wingers. They're always bitching and complaining about, oh my God, they changed Snow White. She's not even white. She's Spanish. Oh my God, she's Spanish. What are we going to do? What am I going to tell my children? And he goes, I don't know. Maybe just avoid it or lie to them like you did with avoiding and lying about the founding of this country on slavery and genocide. Maybe you could do that. Just don't fucking talk about it. Who gives a good goddamn if Snow White is not 100% white? Who gives a shit? For God's sakes, What are you 50-year-old men complaining about Snow White? This is not my Snow White. Who cares? You big fucking baby, you big snowflake. And that is why I be loving me some Bill Burr. Certified goat. Thank you very much, sir, for your service. Keep it up. And free Luigi. Anyway, thank you so much for sticking around and watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And please, if you don't mind, liking and subscribing. It really means the world to me. I know people say click the bell so you can get notified of any future videos that are coming up, but nobody wants to get a shitload of notifications on their phone, so I'm not going to ask you to do that. Just hit the little like button. And if this is the first time you've seen me, you never seen me before, maybe hit the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything. Really helps me out, and it helps beat the YouTube algorithm that is constantly trying to beat us providers down. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. See you next time.